What's going on, everybody? RJ Ochoa here from SB Nation's bloggingtheboys.com. We hope all is well wherever you are. We hope you're happy, safe, healthy, and we want to welcome you to the Cowboys Midweek Report right here on the official Blogging the Boys YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe to our wonderful YouTube channel. We are doing so much to make it better for you because you deserve the very best, and we want to make sure that that's what you get, so we are working very hard to make that happen. The Dallas Cowboys, of course, not putting forth the very best this season. The Cowboys are halfway done with their 2020 campaign. They are 2-6. They host the Pittsburg Steelers on Sunday afternoon at AT&T Stadium before they head on their bye, and there is a lot to figure out for the future. Certainly not a lot to figure out for this game, it would seem. We don't know exactly who the Cowboys quarterback is going to be, which is the first thing we have to figure out. Andy Dalton, obviously, who has been the Cowboys starting quarterback for the most games besides Dak Prescott this season. It was reported on Tuesday of this week, originally by ESPN's Todd Archer, that Dalton is being placed and has been placed on the reserve COVID-19 list by the Dallas Cowboys. Andy Dalton obviously did not play last week on the road against the Philadelphia Eagles because he suffered a concussion the last time he did play for the Cowboys on the road against the Washington football team. This is obviously really disappointing. Andy Dalton was supposed to be the guy, right? That's what we heard. Anybody can lead this offense. You give him these weapons, you give him Amari Cooper and Michael Gallup and CeeDee Lamb, anybody can have success. Well, guess what? Not everybody can have this same level of success because nobody's done it except for Dak Prescott. We certainly, obviously, hope that Andy Dalton feels well. We hope the best for his family, but he will not be playing for the Cowboys this week or next week as the Cowboys are on a bye. In fact, this week it will be either Garrett Gilbert, who the Cowboys signed in free agency, rather poached him off the practice squad of the Cleveland Browns as soon as Dak Prescott went down. It will be Garrett Gilbert or it will be Cooper Rush, who the Cowboys actually said goodbye to when they signed Andy Dalton back in the offseason. Cooper Rush predictably had a cup of coffee with Jason Garrett's New York Giants and is now back with the Cowboys. He's not wearing number 7 anymore because that's Ben DiNucci's number. Nope. Cooper Rush is wearing number 10. So everything's weird, everything's different, but we're trying to make our way through it. So will it be Garrett Gilbert? Will it be Cooper Rush? On Tuesday, in the aftermath of the Andy Dalton news, it was reported by NFL Network's Ian Rappaport that the Cowboys are leaning towards Garrett Gilbert as their starter after considering all options. What are all the options? There's 2 options. Because, look, I'm a fan. Personally, I was a fan, at least, of the Cowboys going with Ben DiNucci last week. Why was I a fan of this idea? Well, we know Garrett Gilbert isn't part of the future plans of the Dallas Cowboys. We know that Cooper Rush isn't part of the future plans of the Dallas Cowboys. He wasn't even supposed to be part of this year's plans. It's possible that Ben DiNucci is part of the future for the Cowboys. It's possible that Ben DiNucci is Dak Prescott's future backup. And so it would be cool to have your backup quarterback have experience in the NFL, have experience starting games, have experience playing games, etc. That was something, quite frankly, the Cowboys never had with Cooper Rush when he was backing up Dak Prescott. And so I was a fan of going with Ben DiNucci last week against the Eagles. Obviously, the way he played altered the way that I and that you likely feel about that situation. And I do think at this point, going with Ben DiNucci would be doing more harm than good. So I like the Garrett Gilbert situation. Garrett Gilbert, obviously, a lot of college football fans know from his time with the Texas Longhorns. And obviously, he is a DFW guy, SMU and whatnot. But a lot of people know Garrett Gilbert from his days in the Alliance of American Football. That's right. Garrett Gilbert was the star of the AAF. Here you see him hooking up for a big-time touchdown. Look at that. The Orlando Apollos. Look at this. Look at Garrett Gilbert. Just shotgun, step back, throw it up deep. Look at, boom. Tell me you couldn't see that being Amari Cooper on Sunday against the Pittsburg Steelers. It's possible. I mean, it really is possible. Look at Garrett Gilbert. Look at this guy. Look, fire away. Fire Garrett Gilbert. Get it done. Look at Garrett Gilbert. Look, I'm not going to lie to you. Garrett Gilbert and the Dallas Cowboys probably don't have much of a future together, but what does the rest of the season, what does the future itself look like for the Dallas Cowboys? Let's just watch one more Garrett highlight. Look at this. Look at the wheels. Garrett Gilbert on the move. Chunk it deep. Oh! Garrett Gilbert. All right, look, I don't know how many of these games Garrett Gilbert's going to start for the Dallas Cowboys, but let's look at the Cowboys' remaining schedule. Obviously, the Cowboys are 2-6. Let's be as optimistic as we can, which is a very difficult thing to do here in 2020. But Week 9, the Cowboys are playing the Pittsburg Steelers. That is a loss. There's no way about it. There is no way about it. Don't even try to convince yourself. Don't. Just don't. The Cowboys are going to lose this week against the Steelers, and that's okay. They're going to be 2-7 entering the bye. The Masters is next week. PlayStation 5 comes out. Spider-Man Miles Morales. We got things to look forward to, but it's not going to be this next Cowboys game. So Cowboys are on a bye on Week 10. Let's get to the double-digit weeks. Sunday, the Sunday before Thanksgiving, the Dallas Cowboys will be in Minnesota to take on the Vikings. Woo. Before last week, if I was in the right mood, you might have been able to convince me that the Cowboys could beat the Vikings. But the Vikings themselves just went to Lambeau Field, Mike McCarthy's former stomping grounds, and got a dub there. So that doesn't look too promising. On Thanksgiving Day, the Dallas Cowboys host the team that knocked Andy Dalton out in the Washington football team. Look, I know we all think that Washington's a joke, but this is a team that roundhoused the Cowboys last time they played, so I have a very hard time picking Dallas against them. A week after that, 7 days after Thanksgiving, you're starting to do your Christmas shopping. Don't wait this year. Get it done. Do it online. Amazon. It's super easy. No free ads, by the way, Amazon, but we're looking for sponsors if you want. Hey, what's up? Anyway, 7 days after Thanksgiving, the Cowboys visit the Baltimore Ravens. That is a loss. Then they get the little mini bye, a little week and a half before they go to Cincinnati, maybe have a bowl of chili. I've never had this skyline myself. I hear bad things. I'm not sure what to believe, but the Cowboys are probably going to lose to Joe Burrow's Cincinnati Bengals. I think we all agree with that. After that, the Cowboys will host the San Francisco 49ers on what is currently scheduled to be Sunday Night Football. That's right, that Week 15 game between the Cowboys and Niners, a historic rivalry. In fact, NFL Films literally did a documentary about this called The Tale of Two Cities. I don't know. I have the hardest time imagining the league flexing out of a game involving the Dallas Cowboys and the reigning NFC champions. But this was also pointed out by ESPN's Todd Archer this week. I mean, the New Orleans Saints played the Kansas City Chiefs that week, and that will obviously be a far more competitive game than this one. So it is possible. But the penultimate game of the season for the Cowboys, they host the Philadelphia Eagles right after Christmas. I mean, how can you pick them? I mean, really, how can you pick the Cowboys against the Eagles? Maybe Garrett Gilbert makes a bit of a difference. Obviously, Carson Wentz is really bad, but it seems impossible. Week 17, it would be super Cowboys. All right, let me paint you a little picture here. The Cowboys lose all of these games. All right, they lose all of these games. And they get to Week 17, and it's either the Cowboys are going to have like the 2nd overall pick or the 5th overall pick, depending on a win or a loss. It would be super Cowboys to go beat Jason Garrett's New York Giants and drop themselves 3 picks in the NFL draft, right? I mean, like you could see that happen. But I mean, I digress. I'm really not certain how this game is going to go. The Cowboys, though, this week we mentioned it, are playing the Pittsburgh Steelers. Here is everything you need to know. The Cowboys are 2-6, as mentioned. The Pittsburgh Steelers are 7-0. They're undefeated. That's right. Pittsburgh Steelers are undefeated, and it is looking like it is going to stay that way. Look at that line, all right? Our line's powered by Sports Betting Dime. The Pittsburgh Steelers by DraftKings Sportsbook, by FanDuel Sportsbook, and by BetMGM Sportsbook. The Pittsburgh Steelers are favored by almost 14 points, 13.5. The Dallas Cowboys are 0-8 against the spread this year. I think that trend continues. This game, by the way, is on CBS. We will get to hear Jim Nantz, Tony Romo, and Tracy Wolfson. I mentioned it. Jim Nantz will be in our lives next week for the Masters, so we have Jim Nantz twice as far as Sundays are concerned. Of course, the radio broadcast of this will be on the home of the Dallas Cowboys, 105.3 The Fan. Let's hear, though, from our friends at Behind the Steel Curtain. Obviously, we are blogging the boys, SB Nation's Dallas Cowboys home, but we have sites for every team. That's the wonder. That's the magic. That's the beauty of SB Nation. Behind the Steel Curtain is our home for Pittsburgh Steelers content, and our friend from Behind the Steel Curtain, Jeffrey Benedict, took some time to tell us what we need to know about the 2020 Pittsburgh Steelers.
Hello, I'm Jeffrey Benedict from BehindTheSteelCurtain.com, your one-stop shop for all things Pittsburgh Steelers. The Pittsburgh Steelers are the last remaining undefeated team in the 2020 NFL season. They are 7-0 for the first time since 1978, a season which ended with a victory over the Dallas Cowboys in Super Bowl 13. While the Steelers' record is impressive, they have only one win that could be considered dominant, and that was over the Cleveland Browns in Week 6. Pittsburgh Steelers are led by quarterback Ben Roethlisberger. Ben Roethlisberger missed most of the 2019 season with injury. In his return this season, he has played smart and efficient football so far. James Conner has been effective as running back for the Steelers, and Eric Ebron has proven to be reliable both in blocking and as a receiver. The Steelers' offense features a four-headed wide receiver attack. Juju Smith-Schuster, Deontay Johnson, James Washington, and Chase Claypool give the Steelers wide receiver depth that allows them to attack all over the field, finding mismatches and exploiting those mismatches. On defense, the Steelers are led by their defensive front. Cameron Hayward, Stephen Tuitt, Bud Dupree, and TJ Watt form one of the best front fours in the entire NFL, and they are one of the main reasons the Steelers are on pace to lead the league in sacks for the 4th straight year. In the defensive backs, the Steelers are led by safety Minkah Fitzpatrick and cornerbacks Joe Hayden and Steven Nelson. The Steelers blitz heavily, and the defensive backs are asked to take on a lot of responsibility. And this season, they are a top 10 defensive unit against the pass. In Week 9, the weakness of the Pittsburgh Steelers is most likely in run defense. With Devin Bush, their young star linebacker, on injured reserve and gone for the season, and Tyson Alualu, their run-stuffing defensive tackle, both out with injuries, the Steelers gave up over 260 rushing yards to the Baltimore Ravens, in spite of the fact that they were the number 2 rush defense in the NFL going into that game. In Week 9, the Steelers are going to have to find a way to solidify their run defense if they plan to stay undefeated. So far this season, the Steelers have managed to win their first 7 games and will be looking to pick up win number 8 this week in Dallas.
Big shout out to Jeffrey Benedict, BehindTheSteelCurtain.com, for taking some time to join us here on the Cowboys Midweek Report. I'm RJ Ochoa, manager and editor-in-chief over at bloggingtheboys.com. This is, like I said, the Cowboys Midweek Report. Shout out to our Blogging the Boys YouTube channel. We're here on YouTube just for you, YouTube. We love you, and we want you to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss a single thing. By the way, while you're subscribing to stuff, I will have a lengthier conversation with a member of the Behind the Steel Curtain team on the Blogging the Boys podcast feed later this week on our episode of the pregame that we do before every Cowboys game. I know it's a depressing exercise this week, but we love it. So go subscribe. We are available on all major podcast platforms. Simply search for Blogging the Boys, hit subscribe, leave a rating, write a review. We really appreciate those things. I mentioned this game is on CBS. One last thing. This game is in the afternoon window for this week's slate of Sunday NFL action, which means you get the Red Zone channel early on. Good luck to your fantasy teams. I don't know your fantasy team's record. I hope it's doing well. I'm 6-2 in my league of record. I know you don't care about my fantasy team. Something I wanted to bring up because, quite frankly, we really don't have anything else to bring up because the Cowboys are so bad. Let's talk about the last time the Cowboys played the Pittsburgh Steelers, all right? It was November 13th, 2016. A young rookie named Dak Prescott with his fellow rookie teammate Ezekiel Elliott marched into the banks of the Three Rivers. That's right, Heinz Field, home of the ketchup. I'm sure Pat Mahomes wishes that was his home stadium, but I digress. Anyway, the Dallas Cowboys shocked the world. The iconic win for the 2016 Dallas Cowboys. They entered that game with a 7-1 record, and they left it with an 8-1 record. That game was incredible for the Dallas Cowboys. You likely remember it very well. Ezekiel Elliott had a walk-off touchdown. My dad and I were actually at this game. We sat next to Franco Harris. It was a whole deal. We'll get into it on next week's episode of the Midweek Report if you really want. But look at these numbers from this game. This looks like a whole season for this current Cowboys. Total offensive yards for each team in this game. The Pittsburgh Steelers had the edge that November day in 2016. 448 to the Cowboys, 422. Look at the yards per play. The Steelers averaging 6.8 yards per play. The Cowboys averaging 7.2 yards per play. I'd be stunned if the Cowboys get 7.2 yards on a single series at this point. All right, now the Cowboys did have one turnover that day. It sucked, but they had an amazing touchdown from Dak Prescott to Dez Bryant, who is now a member of one of the rivals of the Steelers, the Baltimore Ravens. We certainly love Dez. Throw it up, baby. That was an emotional day for Dez Bryant. Time of possession, 30 minutes and 24 seconds for the Cowboys. The final score, 35-30. I mentioned it. Ezekiel Elliott with the walk-off touchdown. It was incredible. It was amazing. These were such great days. The Cowboys obviously would go on to lose in the divisional round of the playoffs to Mike McCarthy's Green Bay Packers. Mike McCarthy now the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. What does the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers have to say about this matchup? Because, Mike Tomlin, he's a guy who's been around. He's got a Super Bowl of his own, and Mike Tomlin knows that really this game, quite frankly, isn't about Garrett Gilbert or isn't about Cooper Rush. It's all about Ezekiel Elliott, whether he's going to get fed and all that stuff. I'm going to show you a tweet from Michael Gelkin of the Dallas Morning News on Twitter at GelkinNFL. Steelers coach Mike Tomlin, this was earlier on Wednesday, on how team prepares for Cooper Rush or Garrett Gilbert to be the Cowboys starting quarterback on Sunday. Good question, right? Hey, coach, what do you think about the new quarterback's going to play for the Cowboys? Mike Tomlin. Either way, we're getting ready for Ezekiel Elliott. Hard to disagree, Coach. Hard to disagree. Let's talk about Wednesday's injury report for the Dallas Cowboys, courtesy of the Athletics' John Machota on Twitter at John Machota. Ezekiel Elliott, actually, is subject of many conversations, likely in Pittsburgh these days, was somebody who showed up on the Cowboys injury report on Wednesday. A limited participant hamstring issue, nothing to really worry about. I don't think it's still very early. Aldon Smith, though, who was the subject of some trade talks over the weekend. Obviously, the NFL's trade deadline has come and gone. Aldon Smith writing out the one-year contract that he signed with the Dallas Cowboys. Also a limited participant in practice. Only one non-participant for the Cowboys, and that was punter Chris Jones. That's right, punter Chris Jones, who did not participate in practice because we are talking, you and I, on Wednesday. On Thursday, Mike McCarthy told us on Wednesday, look at that, going back and forth in days. Mike McCarthy said on Wednesday that Chris Jones is going to undergo core muscle surgery, ouch, on Thursday, the third day. Shout out to Phoebe Buffet. No, that was Joey, not Phoebe. Goodness gracious. Shout out to Joey, the great Joey Tribbiani, Joseph Tribbiani. Chris Jones is undergoing core muscle surgery on Thursday, so he will be out. Mike McCarthy said multiple weeks. As I mentioned earlier, the Dallas Cowboys are on bye this week, so I guess if you want to look at it glass half full, that's a fortunate situation so that Chris Jones has time to heal. But this was something, if you're on Cowboys Twitter, I'm on Twitter at RJ Ochoa. Give me a follow. A lot of people were pumped about this, and not, nobody ever roots for injuries, but Chris Jones has not been good for the last couple of years, actually. And so maybe this is the beginning of the end. The Cowboys have shown certainly they are not afraid to cut anybody on special teams, as they cut Dan Bailey, of all people, 2 years ago. So who's going to be the punter, RJ? Who's it going to be? Because let's be honest again, this is going to be the most busy member of the Cowboys in all likelihood. I'm sorry. It's just the way it is. Hunter Neiswander, the GOAT, baby. Hunter Neiswander, who has recently joined the Dallas Cowboys. Actually, you might know him from the XFL. We talked about Garrett Gilbert, who obviously spent some time with the Orlando Apollos. Actually, that was the Alliance American Football League. All those leagues blend together. But anyway, Hunter Neiswander was a member of the XFL's Defenders. Look at that. Look at that form. All right, now, hopefully he is not that busy on Sunday. And, I would be very interested in this because, or very interested to see, rather, because John Fossil, the Cowboys special teams coordinator, we have seen him be unafraid to do things. We have seen him be unafraid to have some fun. We've seen him be unafraid to try a couple of fakes, to get creative. Maybe Hunter Neiswander is the guy that John Fossil has been searching for all of this time. But I don't know. But either way, the Cowboys have lost their quarterback. They've lost so many offensive linemen. They've lost all sorts of players. Now the Cowboys have lost their punter. It really is just an incredibly lost season. But no matter what the season brings, you can guarantee that we will bring you fine coverage. In fact, the best coverage here at Blogging the Boys. BloggingTheBoys.com is SB Nation's home for Dallas Cowboys content. Make sure you check us out. Make sure you subscribe right here to the official Blogging the Boys YouTube channel. We have all sorts of things coming out all the time. Film reviews. We're starting to put our podcasts up here. Subscribe so you don't miss any of it. We do the midweek report now. We got all sorts of fun. And next week, bring some snacks. Bring some friends in a socially distanced way, of course, because the midweek report is here to stay. We hope that you have a great week. We'll stay talking about the Cowboys-Steelers game, like I said, throughout the week on the Blogging the Boys podcast network. But for now, I'll bid you adieu. I hope you have a great day. I mean, honestly, I hope you have a great. Hope you have a great Thursday. Hope you have a great Friday. Hope you have a great Saturday. Hope you have a great Sunday. And I hope this game is awesome. I really do. Because we all want the Cowboys to win. And when the Cowboys win, everything's better. And so let's go shock the world. In fact, I will leave you with this. The Pittsburg Steelers are 7-0, as we all know. The last time Garrett Gilbert played a game of professional football, one of the teams involved in that game left said field with a 7-1 record. Oh yeah, that's right. Now it's a little bit of a different story. Garrett Gilbert's team was 6-1 and they won to get to 7-1. But it's possible. It's possible the same thing could live itself out because it already happened once. So go get it done, Garrett Gilbert. Shock the world. You're the best quarterback that has ever lived. We believe it. You believe it. I believe it. I love you all. Have the best day ever. You know why? Because you deserve it. See you next time.